Hey guys, welcome to Heart to Talk, the podcast. I am the host and creator, Teresa Caesar. My intention for this podcast is to deliver to you wisdom, inspiration, and consciousness through solo episodes and conversations amongst insightful people. It is my greatest honor to bring to you talks that come from the heart. Amazing listeners, welcome back to another powerful episode of Heart to Talk. I'm so excited to introduce to you all today's guest, Bernadette Alvarado. Bernadette is the founder and podcast host of Simply Hermosa, a platform that celebrates culture, entrepreneurship, and the modern Latina identity. She also serves as a business writer for Hola Tucson Magazine, where she shares inspiring stories. As a sales consultant for Tucson Table Magazine, she connects local businesses with their audiences, driving growth and engagement. In addition, Bernadette is the president of LULAC Chapter 1234, advocating for civil rights and economic empowerment for Latinos. Through her consulting firm, Tesoro Business Services, she helps small businesses thrive with tailored growth strategies. And there's one question she's known for asking: what makes you beautiful? So friends, let's go ahead and dive in to Bernadette's inspiring journey and the incredible work she's doing to bridge community, commerce, and culture with a whole lot of heart and hustle. Girl, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor.
So go ahead and dive into telling us how you became who you are today.
Well, I am an executive assistant by trade. And then pandemic came and I got laid off. And so rather than go back into corporate or to a nonprofit, I ended up starting my own business consulting, and it's basically a business concierge for small businesses. I was doing all of these things for a major corporation. So I said, I'm just going to do it for small businesses as well. You know, when you're in the back end on this as an executive assistant, you're never really in the light. Like, you're never really networking. You don't really do any of that. You're behind the scenes and you're really the one that puts everything together. And so I never had a professional headshot done. And I went and got my headshot done with Rachel Castillo of Tucson Headshots, an amazing photographer. She was like, you got to be out there. You got to have all of these things for your new business. And let me tell you, I wasn't prepared for what I had in my mind and what was actually in print. It was kind of an emotional event for me because, again, you're not used to being in the limelight. You're not used to being in front of the camera, and so you have this idea of who you are. And as a woman, I have so many insecurities, but it really hit me that day. And I was calling my daughter, and just so happened we both had professional headshots on the same day. And you know, she's tearing up and she's crying and she's like, Mom, I don't like the way I look. I feel like I have these big cheeks. And I was like, but baby, you're beautiful. And I'm upset because she's upset, and I'm crying because I had just had this emotional event myself. And then she was like, but Mom, I look just like you. How can you not like your picture? If you feel I'm beautiful, so are you. And so that is where Simply Admosa actually birthed. And the question is, what makes you beautiful? Because I feel like so much of our identity and our sense of self-worth is pulled off of what we see in TV, in print, and for not just young women, but older women as well, to find their identity and be comfortable with whom they are. And so when you come up thinking that you're not beautiful, not loving who you see in the mirror, you don't realize that you're passing that along to your kids because you're their biggest example of what a woman should look like, or how women should act, or how moms should be. And unknowingly, I passed along some of my insecurities to my daughter. So I have been on this journey asking other women, what makes you beautiful? And for many women, it's a very difficult question. Teresa, we talked about that as well on my podcast, and I asked you what makes you beautiful. I feel like that is such a hard but simple question. And nobody ever really gets asked that question.
You're right. I want to say, Bernadette, when you asked me, I was like, oh, I don't know, because I don't think I've ever answered that. Right. And I knew I wanted the listeners of this podcast to ask themselves, like, what makes you beautiful? And if you're a man listening, what makes you handsome? And there's no judgment. I think people are uncomfortable too, right? Be humble, but be confident. And it's owning the things you love about yourself. It's really powerful to find what your answer is and settle into it.
You know, a lot of women don't give a physical attribute. It's all about their character, about their inner beauty, which is something that is amazing, but also it kind of gives back to why are we not loving the body that we're in? Why are we not seeing that we are beautiful?
I agree. And when you ask yourself, Bernadette, has your definition evolved? Does it different from like maybe 1 month, depending on the season you're in of your life?
I think as I'm on this journey, right, it changes day to day. I think we talked about that too, right? Because some days you feel amazing and you want to conquer the world, and other days, yeah, it's a struggle. Like life gets really hard. So based on how you're feeling, I think determines what you feel is beautiful that day. Today, for me, what makes me beautiful is my authenticity. For genuinely wanting to support other people and just being a genuine person with lots of flaws and lots of not necessarily handicaps but insecurities, right? Because there's always that moment where I'm like, I don't feel beautiful today, but I'm gonna own today anyways. And that's what I want women to walk away with. It's okay to feel not beautiful. It's okay. And own who you are today. Own the authenticity. And it's, again, today is a different day. I had a huge day of meetings, and I had a beautiful conversation with Tiffany Nakatani, and it just kind of solidified the reason that we're on this mission, right? So for me, I'm beautiful because I care.
Ooh, I love that. So that being said, what is your mission?
The mission of Simply Hermosa is to create a brave and inclusive space where everyone feels empowered, valued, and honored. Originally, we did Simply Admosa as a women's group, and it's turned into so much more. It is a nonprofit for everyone because, right, I have kids and I have young men, and sometimes they don't feel accepted and seen and heard. So I could not have Simply Hermosa without the wonderful men in my life.
I love that so much. Is there anything else before I dive into the closing questions per tradition that you want to share with the audience?
Just opening the conversation, opening each other up to show each other that, you know what, life is very hard. It's very hard to just be alive right now. And when you have an example of somebody that maybe has handled things in a different way, then you don't feel alone.
And again, ask yourself, what makes you beautiful?
And it opens up to the most beautiful conversation, right? I mean, that in itself is the best conversation starter.
From your podcast to being a business writer for Hola Tucson, being president of LULAC, you're a mama as well. How do you sustain being able to show up in all these places? What is it that keeps you going?
It definitely is a challenge. And like I said, in my authenticity, there are days where I'm struggling. But at the end of the day, I know this sounds crazy, but at the end of the day, I just want my kids to be proud of me.
Oh, I love it. I love your authenticity. Sarah Van Bronick, which is one of my favorite authors, she said that authenticity is your soul made visible. That's probably why it feels good to be there, because our soul wants to come out. So I'm going to go ahead and pivot to the ending questions, Bernadette. The first question, what is your favorite book?
Oh, That's a very difficult question because there's so many. But Bless Me Ultima is my favorite book.
Bless me, Ultima. I love that. And second question, what is your favorite affirmation?
I am powerful.
I love it. You are. I see your power. And the last question, what do you want to be known for? Your legacy.
I want to be known for the way I love my community and my family. It's simple.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Please download, rate, subscribe, and share this podcast. Also, be sure to visit my website at teresacaesar.com to check out my inspirational merch, connect to my social accounts, and much more. May you continue to be filled with wisdom, inspiration, and consciousness. Otherwise, friends, I will be back in 2 weeks for another episode of Heart to Talk.